Good morning. I'm just going to give it a few minutes to let people trickle in, and then we'll get started. Perfect. Perfect. Just another minute or so, and I will be recording the session today.
So ask really good questions.
All right. Can you guys see Jill, can you see my screen? Perfect. Okay, everyone. My name is Jada. I am the Research Program Coordinator here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. I help run our Arizona FAST program as well as support SBIR and STTR programs and initiatives here in Arizona. Today, we are going to have an Arizona FAST program application workshop. Essentially, we are going to be overviewing the program and making sure you guys are able to ask any questions you have later on. And yeah, so let's get started. To begin, what is the FAST program? The FAST program is a series of initiatives brought out by the Small Business Administration to support SBIR and STTR programs. The Arizona Commerce Authority was chosen by the Small Business Administration, the SBA, to administer Arizona's federal and state technology partnership program. There are three pillars of the FAST program. The first is outreach, the second is technical assistance, and the third is financial support. The FAST grant falls under this third pillar of financial support. Here at the Arizona Commerce Authority, we have separated these three pillars and created different programming and really tasks that we look to seek to achieve under these three pillars. For outreach, we have monthly events. Some of these are in person, some of these are webinars like we're doing here today. We have workshops, and then we have our content library where this will be later today. Speaking of which, perfect. Let me make sure that this will be recorded now that I said that. Jill, are you able to see if it's recording or able to record?
It does not look like it to me.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay, to continue, the next portion is technical assistance, and we take initiative there by connecting small businesses to ecosystem resources. That includes consultants, grant writers, lab facilities, and core facilities at our public universities and private universities here in Arizona, and university contacts. Our universities here in Arizona have amazing programs to help small businesses, and we look to connect you with resources that are most appropriate for your needs. Lastly, we have our financial support portion of the FAST grant. That is where we offer our Arizona FAST grant, which is the $3,000 grant I'll be talking more about today. We also offer a Tech Connect grant, which is an annual grant for companies looking to attend the National SBIR STTR conference in Washington, D.C. This grant will open up in January, and the actual conference occurs in June every year. Lastly, we have the Advanced Manufacturing Facilities Grant. This grant does not fall directly under the FAST grant, but it is for small businesses. This grant helps businesses who are in the semiconductor industry by matching one-on-one their costs at lab facilities at ASU. So a little bit more focus now on the Arizona FAST grant. The Arizona FAST Grant is designed for Arizona small businesses with a strong understanding of small business innovation research and small business technology transfer programs administered by the Small Business Administration. The AZ FAST Grant is also for businesses with novel innovations, which is really important to this grant. The grant is $3,000 towards an SBIR STTR application. In general, an SBIR STTR application will take about 100 hours and can be pretty costly when you contribute consultant fees, grant writer fees, and different research fees into everything it takes to submit an application. The AZ FAST Grant is opened 3 times a year, and 6 companies are awarded in each round. So we award 18 small businesses the FAST Grant every year. Applications will always be online, and you can find them on our website. The application is open now. It opened Monday the 14th, and it will close in October. As I mentioned, it's really important that small businesses know about SBIR and STTR before submitting an application for the FAST Grant. There are many ways that small businesses can learn about the SBIR and STTR programs. I'm just going to talk about a few, but again, there are so many in Arizona. There are a lot of people who want to help small businesses through this journey of getting an SBIR or STTR. So some of the most important are ones that SBIR.gov offers, which is the Small Business Administration itself. The tutorials, which you can find online, are informative courses about the SBIR and STTR programs that provide explanations of the application process, the awardee process, the different agencies involved, and then links to those agencies as well. There's about anything you could think of there on the tutorials. Next, we have the award reports, which you can also find at SBIR.gov. Here you can access past SBIR and STTR awards dating back to the beginning of the SBIR and STTR programs. These programs have been in place for quite a few years, since the 1970s or 80s, I want to say. Jill, I think you can.
Yes, since the Reagan administration, since I believe 1985.
1985. So you can go browse awards since 1985, look at what companies have won, where have the awards been given, what agencies are giving each type of award, and where your technology might fit into an agency. So we suggest that if you are interested in a FAST grant, in an SBIR STTR grant, that you go look at those award reports. Look at what agencies are giving awards that fit your business and how you might be able to find a solicitation and use it to fit your technology and your needs for the SBIR STTR programs. Next, we highly recommend that you get in contact with agency representatives. There are 11 federal agencies that participate in the SBIR STTR program. And on SBIR.gov, there is a list of representatives for each agency. Additionally, if you go to SBIR.gov, click on the agencies page and go to specific agency SBIR STTR pages, you can find more representative information and more contact information. Reaching out to agency contacts is a great way to ask about what the upcoming solicitations are, how your technology might fit into an upcoming solicitation, or potentially just get advice from agencies to see if they might recommend a different agency for your technology, or just getting their insight overall on where your technology might fit in and where they see their agency's SBIR STTR programming going towards in the future. Next, the Arizona Commerce Authority has a content library where there are recorded webinars like these ones for SBIR, STTR, and FAST topics. If you need a little bit more assistance or you still have questions, this is a great resource to go to. All of these webinars are free. They're already on the website and you can watch on your own time. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the development centers. The SVDCs are a great resource. They are free to small businesses, and you can have one-on-one consultations to talk about SBIR, STTR, or other business needs. If you are interested in connecting with them, you can visit their website or reach out to us. here at the Arizona Commerce Authority, we can get you connected with your local small business development center. Lastly, again, there are many resources that want to help you here in Arizona with an SBIR or STTR application. Universities, all of our public universities have resources for you. University of Arizona, Arizona State University, and Northern Arizona University. We can get you connected with the right people there if you would like to be in touch with someone specific at a university. Additionally, Arizona has an Apex Accelerator, ACA. We host events that highlight SBIR, STTR programming. We bring representatives from agencies to come speak at these events. They're a great resource to learn more about specific agencies or specific programming related to SBIR and STTR. Another great resource is the Arizona Technology Council. They also host many events, and the ACA sponsors some of these events. So we do have SBIR, STTR programming at these events, at some of these events. And overall, AZTC is a great place to connect with other businesses, mid-size, large size, and universities. Many people attend these events, and they're just a great resource. So there's many more. I didn't list all of them here today. If something interests you on this list, or you maybe have another idea or seeking another need, please do contact us. You can scan the QR code on the screen right here. It will take you to our contact form. From there, you can fill it out, list what your need is, and we will get in touch with you as soon as we can. From here, you can ask us about any of the helpful resources that I just talked about. If you need help with an SBIR consultant, we can help guide you there. We can give you program and grant interviews for our programs, and then we can help you as best with other programs as well. You can find our grant application online, and you can also find our eligibility requirements online. Our AZ Fast grant application, as I mentioned, is open now. You can find that on our website. If you scan this, it will take you to, again, our contact page, but from there you can access our webinars and workshops. We can help you access expert advisors, including university advisors and administrators. And lastly, we can connect you to core facilities, which is where you can facilitate research, get in touch with potentially graduate students that would be interested in helping you with this project. There's plenty of opportunities in the ecosystem. Again, scan that QR code. If you're interested, scroll down to the contact form, fill it out, let us know what your needs are, and we will get back to you. Right, on to the specific FAST grant application. Now that we know that SBIR and STTR is a huge part of this application, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about what the FAST application is actually like. So we have designed the AZ FAST application to answer two really important questions. The first, who is your company? What does your company do? What is your company's innovation? And the second, is your company prepared for an SBIR STTR application? Again, the FAST grant is meant to fund application efforts. If your company is not looking for an SBIR STTR award, you're not going to be a good fit for this grant in particular. So it's really important on the application that you show that you're prepared, that you know what SBIR, STTR is, so that we can appropriately identify where your company's needs are. So now I'm going to get into a little bit more detail here, specifically about the application questions. I haven't listed all of them on these slides, just some of the more pertinent ones. Yes, I see a raised hand. Right. Jill, do you see?
Yes. Mark, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? Let's see. There we go. I think you might need to unmute. I think we gave you permission to talk. Can you unmute yourself?
If not, you can also put all these questions in the chat. I can see the chat.
Yep, and it looks like Patrick has a question as well. Patrick, do you want to try to see if we can get?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, is that possible? You can post the link direct to the application.
Yeah,
I'll do that, Jada.
Okay.
thank you, Jill.
Mark, are you able to talk?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, great.
Perfect. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand throughout the presentation. You can also put your questions in the chat and Jill will help me answer those as they come up. So back to the application content. Again, I'm not going to be going in detail through every question. Some of them are more self-explanatory than others. The first one I want to highlight here is we ask for you to list key partners, academic associates, and or contractors that you've worked with. And we encourage you to list multiple support organizations and specific points of contact. What we are looking for in this question is, how is your business already connected with ecosystem partners, whether that be another small business you're working with? If you're working with a small business development center already, we would like you to have that listed just so that we know where your business is. How have you already worked with SBIR, STTR in the community? And next, for that, it's also really important that we know exactly who. So if you do have a specific point of contact, a specific person that you're in touch with at, be it an SBDC, is if it's at a hospital that you're working with for your medical technology, being as diligent, as thorough as you can in your listing of key partners, associates, and contractors. The next question I want to talk just a little about is describing your innovation and project. This is a fairly new question that we've added to the application. We decided that it was necessary as we were going through everyone's applications. Everyone was doing, a good job of answering the other questions, but we didn't fully get an understanding of what the companies were working on as an overview. So we added this question so that you can give us just a rundown, an overview, a quick summary of what your innovation is, and so that we can be a little bit more knowledgeable of how your innovation is relevant to SBIR, STTR, and FAST funding. So definitely use this question, think of it as a summary of what you're doing, and explaining to us judges how your innovation ties into SBIR, STTR, and FAST. The next question, does your project address an important problem or critical barrier to progress in the field? This is really important to both FAST and SBIR, STTR, because FAST is looking, and SBIR, STTR is looking for you to solve problems that don't already have solutions. That's a huge part of these programs. We are looking for you to know that you're solving a problem, what that problem is, and what are the barriers that have stopped this problem from already being solved. So we ask that you clearly address the industry problem and the critical barrier related to your technology. I'm thinking kind of just of an easy example here. If I were creating a telephone for the first time, what would have been the industry problem? Would it have been that there simply wasn't the capabilities for that? And what were those capabilities that weren't already there for the telephone? And what was a critical barrier to allow that innovation to become commercialized or truly put out into the marketplace? And the next question here, what strategies, methodologies, and analyses are in place to accomplish the specific aims of the project? Of course, first and foremost, we're looking that you have an innovative, novel project that's solving a problem that our government wants you to solve. Again, the SBIR and STTR are administered by the Small Business Administration, which is a part of the federal government. So we want to make sure that you guys actually have something in place to make sure that you get from point A to point B, that this project, your idea, is actually feasible. And a really important part of that is understanding what strategies, what goals you have in place to make sure that everything happens. So this question is really a place for you to explain the steps that your company has in place to achieve your project goals. If this is, I've partnered with a university, we are in this phase, and from here, these are our next steps, that's perfect. If that's a different route, that's okay as well. Again, we just want to make sure that you guys have plans in place to make sure that your innovation actually becomes a reality and that it can actually cross the barriers that you described in the previous question. All right. The other questions that I'm going to address today are of similar nature on the application. The first one on this slide, does innovation challenge or seek to shift current research or clinical practice? This one may seem repetitive, however, it's looking at a different angle of the novelty of your project. So initially we're asking what barriers, what has stopped this innovation from being possible before? Now we're asking, do you truly understand how your innovation is different from what has been in the market beforehand? Here we're asking that you clearly address how your project shifts current research and current practice. This should be a well-detailed response. We as judges should be able to have a clear understanding of how your innovation and how your company's objectives are changing the current market, how something like this doesn't exist, but you are creating it and it's going to make certain changes to our world, to what we have in our capabilities already. Next question is, are the concepts, approaches, or methodologies, instrumentation, or interventions novel to one field of research, or novel to a field of research in a broad sense? We're asking here that you clearly address the novelty of your innovation. How is it new? How has this never existed before? What part of it is going to change or solve a solution in a way that has never been done before? In this, a really important part of this question is asking you to identify potential competitors. Of course, it's easy to say that competitors don't exist. It's ideal for everyone that competitors won't exist, but it's not always realistic. If I have, for example, I'm going to go back to, I have a telephone, but what other forms of communication exist that might be a competitor? So I'm going to create calling, but there's already email. That's a competitor for phone calls and things like that. So think of competitors in a broad sense. Who might be a competitor to your market, even if they don't have the same technology? And who might be challenging the novelty of your research? Again, it doesn't have to be the exact same technology, but if it's similar, we want you to be able to identify if there are competitors and who they are. This shows that you have a better understanding of what the market for your product looks like and what the actual potential of your product looks like overall. And the last question I'm going to talk about today is, does the proposed project have commercial potential? And if so, how? This is super, super important, potentially the most important question of the application. And I'm saying that because commercial potential is so important to SBIR and STTR. So as a brief overview, SBIR and STTR occurs in 3 phases. The first 2 are funded through the grants. The third phase is commercialization, and this phase is not funded by the government. This phase is, how can you take your technology now that you've gone through proof of concept and gone through the actual prototyping? How can you take this prototype and bring it to market and scale it? Again, this is not funded, so it's important that as a company, you know how you're going to be able to take this technology and really bring it into the market and make a successful company out of it. How you are going to be able to create a small business that thrives and grows once you have this prototype, this product. So this question is to make sure that you know what your commercial market looks like for your product and address in some ways how your technology will be able to reach those market goals. So we ask that you clearly address the commercial potential of the innovation and provide the market potential in dollars. Is this a $500,000 market? Is this a $10 million market? Is this a $100 million market? It's important that you know how much room there is for your innovation to truly thrive once it's past the prototyping point. And again, we ask that you detail how the innovation might succeed in the market. In the last question, we asked what's going to stop your innovation from being successful. In this question, we're asking how can your innovation be successful? I do see we have a question. There was a question in the chat. Jill, did you see it?
It was, would you be able to allow attachments on the application? There isn't enough room to explain the.
Jill, you can.
Sure. Yeah. We do not allow for attachments. And we are, this kind of helps narrow in sort of like an elevator pitch on what the technology is. So we do ask that you keep within the application format there.
Thank you, Jill. To finish this off, I've given you guys a little bit more insight into some of our questions. I have the do's and don'ts of our application. Let's go over the do's first, because, I've already given all these tips, so I'm just going to keep going. You should visit the ACA's Resource Center. You should do your research before you submit a FAST application. Know what FAST is, know what SBIR is, know what STTR is. If you those resources, can always reach out via our contact form. We want you to know about these programs just in general and really before you submit a FAST application. Next, as I already said, please list all partners, academic associates, and our contractors that you've worked with. If you've worked with a consultant who has helped you write applications, who has helped inform you about SBIR, STTR, we want to know about it. If you have been working with somebody at a university on your innovation, we want to know about it. Anyone in your ecosystem that has supported you through the SBIR, STTR, or FAST process, we want to know about on your application. Next, we ask that you approach the application from an SBIR, STTR mindset. Now, what does this mean? I've already said, we're going to go back to the basics here. The FAST grant is for the costs associated with submitting an SBIR, STTR application. And the purpose of providing this money is to make you more successful in submitting this application. So the FAST application is directly associated with SBIR and STTR applications. By submitting this application, we want to know that you have what it takes to submit a successful SBIR or STTR application in the future. So when you're filling out this application, think of it in terms of when I submit an SBIR, STTR application, how might I answer those questions and how might my technology be associated there? How can I tie it into the FAST application? Next, we ask that you truly identify your innovation's novelty, and this means both the successes and failures of your novelties. As I mentioned, where we want you to be able to identify what are the barriers, what's going to stop your innovation from being successful, and we also want to have you guys recognize how can your innovation be successful? What is the market potential? What is new and innovative and novel about your innovation that's never been done before? Lastly, we do want you to know and keep in mind that you should plan to apply for more than one cycle of the Arizona FAST Grant. On average, it takes 3 submissions of the FAST application for someone to win the grant. And this is if they have a firm understanding. So just because you're doing everything right and you have all the pieces of your application doesn't mean you're going to win the first time around. On average, we're getting between 40 and 50 applications per grant. We only award 6 winners. There is a lot of competition, so don't get discouraged if you don't win it the first time or the second time. You can apply again. It's expected that you apply again, and it happens for most companies, again, on average, 3 submissions before a FAST grant win. Now on to the don'ts. Please do not submit a FAST application without researching and knowing the basics of SBIR and STTR programs. If you don't know about these programs, you are very likely not eligible or do not know enough for the AZ FAST grant. In order to win the FAST grant, we want you to be knowledgeable about SBIR, STTR, how you can use these funds. And we want you to know about the program, what you're doing. If you don't know about SBIR and STTR, haven't taken the time to learn about it, you're probably not set up for the AZ FAST grant. Perfect. There's a question, Jayashri. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. How many times a year is the FAST application open? It is open 3 times during the calendar year. Again, it is open right now. I believe Jill did put the link in the chat for our application. There are 6 winners per round, 18 winners each year. Perfect. Continuing with the don'ts, please don't assume the judges already know your company's innovation. Even if we've met you before, even if someone from the ACA in another department has mentioned you to us before, we don't know everything. As much as we wish we knew everything and could remember everything, we don't have that power. When you're going through your application and you're describing what your innovation is, please do that in a way that truly introduces your innovation. The easier it is for us to know what you'd like to get across in that application, the more you explain your innovation, your product in each question, the better chance that the judges will understand what you're trying to say. And that's really important for an application of any type. So please don't assume that we already know what you're trying to achieve with SBIR, STTR, with your company's objectives in general. Next, again, please do not forget to include potential discriminators in the application. I know it's really tempting to say that your company has no competitors, that there's no roadblocks, that nothing's going to go wrong, because we all want that to be true, of course, when we were creating an innovation or technology. But the reality is that things are going to get in the way. And it's important that you know that. So going back to the example, if my innovation is phone calls, I'm going to be like, nah, email, they're not a big deal. They're not even going to compete. Everyone's going to want this new thing now that I have it. It's like, okay, but it does exist. And we should acknowledge that other routes are existing. That's just one example. Again, there's probably different roadblocks. Actually, I know there's going to be different roadblocks. There's going to be different competitors in every industry, in every innovation. And please don't forget to include those on your application. It truly makes your application stronger if you understand what those discriminators are. Lastly, do not be vague about the commercial potential of your product. We don't want to see on your application that you say there is commercial product or commercial potential for this product, this innovation. That's wonderful. We're hoping that everyone has commercial potential for their product. What is your commercial potential in numbers? How much? How big is the market for this innovation? How big is the market for your specific part of the industry? And anything you can include. Will this presentation be shared? I'm in the chat again. This presentation will be available at NACE's content library. I believe Jill double-checked at the beginning that it's being recorded, so we will have our marketing team put it on the website. I will also do my best to share this presentation, the slides, with everyone who attended our webinar today. Perfect. Some final reminders, and if you don't take anything away from this today, please take these 3 things with you once you leave today. First, $3,000 will not cover all costs associated with an application. As I said, it's an expensive process to submit an SBIR or STTR between grant writers, consultants that you're talking with, research fees, paying employees to do the work on this. $3,000 isn't going to cut it. It's not going to cover it. So please keep in mind, if you win this grant, you have this $3,000, please do not go to a consultant or a grant writer and expect them to be able to do all the work with this amount of money. Unfortunately, it's expensive. Next kind of feeds into it. AZ Fast Grant is not free money. It has to be used towards an SBIR or STTR application. It has to be used for purposes related to submitting an SBIR or STTR. Additionally, we don't just give out the $3,000 once you win. Part of the $3,000 does have to be supported with documentation that proves that you are going through the route and taking the initiatives to hire consultants or research or advance your application for an SBIR or STTR. So this money is not free money. It is goes through a process, and we are checking that you're using this money in the appropriate manners. See, there's a few more questions. Do you wait to select the 6 companies after the FAST application closes in October? Yes, we will wait until the application closes. We usually give it a week or two before we announce the winners, just so that judges have enough time to look over every application and make an informed decision. And nextly, how soon after close does the payment get sent to each successful applicant company? This is a great question. So after the application closes, we've selected our winners. We will send out we will send the results to everyone, regardless of win or lose of the FAST grant. For winners, they will be invited to a meeting. And at that meeting, we will detail what happens after you've won the grant. How do you get payment? What are the next steps? And what are you required to do now that you've been selected? In general, payment occurs in 2 cycles. It will be the first $1,500 and then the second $1,500. The first $1,500 is sent once to your company once you've provided the appropriate documentation. Again, that documentation is detailed in the meeting that we have with these FAST application winners. And the second $1,500 is provided once the company that has won provides that supporting documentation to prove that they're going forward to support and strengthen their SBIR or STTR application. We have that meeting with the winners to truly go in more detail about all of that, and know that we do our best to make sure that everything is clear for winners once we have selected them. Lastly, and most importantly here on this final reminder slide, please know that the result of an application does not determine the success of your company in both ways. If you win the application for a FAST grant, that's not going to guarantee that you win an SBIR or STTR. It's not going to guarantee that your company is going to be successful with an innovation. We are just acknowledging that you have a great idea. You're going in the right direction, and there's potential that we support. But it doesn't guarantee you're going to win an SBIR or STTR. In the same way, us not giving you the money, us not choosing your company as the winner for the application, does not mean that your innovation idea is going to fail. It doesn't mean that you can't win an SBIR or STTR application. You can definitely do that without winning the FAST grant. And your company, again, can still be successful if you don't win grants, not just this grant, but other grants. Know that there are many avenues open to businesses, and FAST grant is just one of them. And as I mentioned earlier, on average, it takes 3 cycles of the FAST grant for a company to win. So it is a timely process. And as we all know, success doesn't happen in a moment. It takes a lot of time, and it's a journey. Okay. So that was the end of my presentation for the FAST grant, the FAST application, and everything that I think you should know. I'll give a moment here for Jill to share any thoughts and additional tips she has for you guys.
Well done, Jada. Thank you very much. You've gotten some great feedback here. I think the thing is that this is a very competitive grant. Some might think it's only $3,000, but it has turned into a very competitive grant. And I think the questions that you guys have asked and the responses given show that it is competitive. And in general, what I think this application does as well is hopefully better prepare you for the SBIR STTR process, regardless of whether you receive the FAST grant or not. I think it does do a good job of building that foundation. Regardless, we'd love to know. Tell us if you apply to an SBIR or STTR, and please tell us and keep us posted of your outcomes. We'd love to provide additional resources when and where applicable. And for those successes, we'd love to make sure we share those as well.
Yes. Jill definitely had a great point there. Please do share your successes. If you submitted an application or if you win, we want to celebrate you here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. We will do our best if you win or have exciting news to share that on our social medias. And here's another question. Could you kindly share when the application cycles open up so we can plan accordingly for it? Jill?
Yes. So the application process is generally every 4 months. However, we can't be specific on the dates. There are some other factors that come into play there, but generally around every 4 months.
Perfect. And then my last thing today, I just want to say thank you to everyone who attended today. We really appreciate that you guys want to learn more, and we're here to help you however we can. So I hope all of you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the session. If you guys need anything, please reach out to us. My email is here on the screen, and you're welcome to use the contact form whenever you need to. All right. Bye-bye, guys.